Welcome back to another episode. Last episode, we were trying to get the two agents to kind of work together. Um, I got the belief system with the agents. Now they kind of keep track of certain things that only are important to them as far as the world state's concerned. Let me delete these extra agents. Off screen, I just added back our um, sprites here and put back the animation they were doing. There's still some other animations I didn't add yet, like the death and the sleeping. You can see that they are kind of working together, not going to the same one. See, the other one won't go to the other. Um, and so there they go. And then they'll, now, if you notice, let me pause it for a second. This one right here did not go to go get a resource. There's nothing to chop down. He didn't bother going and picking up a resource. Um, and I'm not sure why. I'm trying to think of maybe his. I think it has to do with he found a plan because there was something to check. There was a tree to chop down, but he couldn't chop it down. But there was one in our world state. It said that there was one, and so it made a plan anticipating to chop it down, but the plan failed, and so it didn't know what to do. It didn't have anything else to do. Because remember, our goal is to, which is really strange. Um, and I'll have to look at those goals. The goal is to, if I look at the AI agent, his goal is to, as the sleep goes to storehouse. So for some reason, um, let's see our actions. I'm just going to test something out real quick. Take resources storage. The cost is 1. Okay. But to gather resource, it's also 1. This should be a 3. Whoops. Let's see if it creates different plans if I do that. Click here, click here. Nope, they're still making plans that will chop things down. Oh, nope, there it goes. Well, there's nothing else to chop down. So I'll pause it now. He's not going anywhere because he thinks the most important thing is to chop this down. And that just doesn't make sense as far as why is his plan being to gather resource. Is that one of his goals? I guess that's his goal. So if I go to, yeah, I guess that makes sense, but um, let's go to the goals. So yeah, his goal, this is a priority over taking something to the storehouse. And so we need to have, uh, we need to change some of this stuff. Now off camera, one thing I did do was, let's see if I go to the storage object, I changed, before I was using like a dictionary right here of resources and just keeping track of the string and an int. And the reason why I said I wanted to do that is because I didn't want game objects to be piling up in a storage and just having like a ton of game objects that really aren't doing anything. So I created a dictionary to kind of keep track of, what resource and how much. Well, now I've decided to change it to have a list of items here and item info. And so now we have a class, and in our class we have something called isTask. It keeps track of the item name and the prefab, and it can also, I believe this works correctly, where it can make a copy of itself. So when when the villager goes to the storehouse and it takes out the item and then creates the appropriate game object and copies the info to that game object. Um, but I also want to start using this is task. Uh, so my goal for this episode, and I don't know how many episodes it's going to last for, but I want to go back to having a pre-planning action uh, for our actions. So public override pre-plan action, and this is going to be a void. Oh, whoops, virtual. And what this is going to do is after our villager makes their plan, I want it to go through a kind of pre-prepping for the actions it's going to take. For example, if part of its actions are to build something, maybe it should immediately set the target for the blueprint it's going to work at. If it's going to take something from a storage house, then pre-plan the item you're going to take. And that way, uh, other villagers will know, hey, I can't go take that item because another villager has already pre-planned to take that item. I'm not going to go work at that blueprint because another villager has already set that as a task. And I think I kind of did that with uh, before with the old AI. I was trying to plan for those kind of situations. So that's what we're going to try to do in this episode. Um, let's go to, and I'll do this in small chunks. Like I'll try one thing to make sure that that works, and then try for other actions. So let's first go with the gather action because usually that's the first thing it does anyways. And we're going to do a public override void pre-plan action. Okay. And let's see, in this override, so with this pre-plan action, um, we're going to set the target. Set the target first, and then if target object is not equal to null, um, gather object is equal to the target object get component, and we want to get the component of a gather object. Okay, and then we want to set this is task to true. We want to do it here. Before we were having to do it during the performing. What's wrong here? Oh yeah, gotta do it like that. Okay. So that sets now this is going to let everybody else know, hey, this cannot be something you can go after. Um, and I don't want to say I want to do that. Okay. Um, now in our conditions, let's look at our conditions here. when it checks, check if there's a gather object. So get game object, type of this. Um, Actually, we want to check here. Get list gather objects. Actually, list of game objects. Game objects is equal to this. Okay, and then for, you've seen this before, where we then loop through all those game objects. And we'll call it GO. Sorry, in game objects. So we loop through all of them. We're going to then cache it to a gather object is equal to go dot get component of the gather object. If the gather object that is task, so if it's not a task yet, then we can return true. Okay, I'll delete all that. If not, we're going to return false. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Yeah. Now, what we want in our set target, we might have to do this for all of them. If set target, no, sorry, if target game object is not equal to null, or if it equals to null, we're going to return. That way, return true. So we already have one set. Let's see, we got 3 references. All right, that's in the pre-planning. This is AI. Okay, when it sets the target. So it's just going to return true here. If it's already has a target, what we need to do is after it performs an action, let's see, working on job. This is where it dequeues it. We want to say target object is equal to null. We don't want that reference to that object anymore. Okay, so my thought is, here's what I'm thinking is going to happen now, is that, oh wait, I didn't even do this yet. All right, in our idle, after it creates, sets our goal, sets the goal, does that. It created a plan here. The plan is good. Wait. Yeah, here. This is where we're creating the plan. If it's greater than, we want to do pre-plan all actions. And I'm going to start putting things out of private void pre-plan. So what it's going to do is for each AI action in plan. So go through all those actions in that plan, and we'll say AI action, oops, dot pre-plan. And then up here, we'll run it after we get our plan. So ahead of time, it's going, for some of the actions, it will set a target and it will make it so that you can't, the other, the is task is true. Did I set that for, yeah. Um, Certain things like, um, taking, oh, see, this is where it gets kind of complicated. But we'll think about it. I was just thinking about like picking up a resource off the ground. Um, in the pre-planning, if there is no target, what does it do? Um, well, I guess it depends on what the plan is. Because right now, the way it's set up, let's say he will never have a goal for the storage. Taking something to the storage will never involve chopping down a tree. Okay, he only chops down a tree because it's been selected, and that's just one of his goals is to chop down trees. He has a separate goal that takes things from the ground to the storage house. And the reason why I say that is like it couldn't set a target for an object that hasn't been created yet, even though it might be created during his plan. I don't know if all that's making sense, but that's how I think about it in my head. Okay. So what would we notice different? Well, I guess that's an error. So as soon as I clicked, it must have tried to make a plan and something was not assigned. Towards target. Okay. Let's see. Transform position, move towards target. Um, oh, look. If it's not null, return. All right. Gotta make sure you have those conditions correct. Okay. Interesting. Saying we have no target. Let's go back to our gather resource. I said return true. Yeah, let's do this. Let's turn off one of our agents. Let's test it with one first. Okay, let me pause it. It did come here. Let's put a little debug. We got too many debugs all over the place. Create work job. Debug, dialog, pre-planning, plus AI actions, action. Okay. Okay, let's stop it. Hmm. Our pre-planning action. Here's its graph. Pre-planning. That's setting this. This is part of the pre-plan. But it didn't find this? Okay. So this is his plan. Or at least this is the graph it made. And then it's doing that. And then when it came here, it didn't find one here. Because we should see this right here. Okay, other object is task. Alright, let's just find all the references to this. Let's see if we're setting it somewhere where we don't want it to be set to. Okay, we're actually already setting it there. That's in the pre-plan thing. That's for the resource. And this is for the click detecting. Interactable, that is task. Man, I don't like this right here. Has clicked. Okay, no, I don't see it being affected here. Let's go to, let's debug right here. Let's find out. Let's just see if, okay. So target object is null. Let's step into this. I think F11. Right? Maybe not. Oh, saying it's not responding. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, I'm not sure what just happened. Where am I? Alright, let me close that. Debug. Step out. F11. Alright, it's looking for the list. It found one. It found one. Found 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Should be 10, 9, 10. Okay. So this is good. Now it's going to go through those lists. Gets the gather object. Has clicked as false. Okay, next one. False. True. And what is this statement here? The whole thing's true. Okay, so, wait, where did it go? Okay, go back. Wait. What did it just do there? Did it do all this other stuff? Let me stop it. Let me stop. Let me try this again. Attach it. Okay. Try this one more time. Just going to click one. I don't know why it keeps going to this plastic app. Okay. Okay. How do I step out? Step out. Okay. So it's going to this one. See, it's here. And then it goes here. And then it kicks out. And let me just stop. Let me put this here. Right here. Let me try this again. Step out. Okay. His task is, so now that's true. Target is this. Wait, what? Why was it null? Hold on. It returned true. Wait. Oh, here we go. Let me stop everything. Where is this target? Oh, so the action has. Wait, what? So I'm doing this really wrong. My my AI action has a target object, and my agent has a target object. That's interesting. Maybe I just forgot to do that. I don't know if I've been using both of them. Let me look at another action. In the set target. I've always been setting the Actually, that's what we want to do. We want to say target, and then when it, let's do that. Let's start doing that. Change this to the target, that the action can have a target object. Let's change it up here. Let's get rid of this. So we need to go into all of those. That. Let's see. Yep. Set target will be this. What else we have? The sleep action. Do I see that at all? All right, let me go to here. Stop this. Actions, sleep and ground. Target is going to be just the target. And then this one, just the target. Did I get that one all right? Yep. Did I get this one? Yep. This one? Nope. Okay, just double checking all these. We already did those. Gather resource, target, and the building. Okay, so then back in our AI agent, sorry about all this, but you know, as you're programming, you come across things and be like, oh, this is what it should do. This way, what I can do in my pre-planning, I can have each of the actions will have a target action. Then when we come to that target, see right here, we're going to say AI agent. Whoops, AI, or actually, I say target object is equal to plan dot element 0 dot target object, and we must do it here as well. Okay, and now let's see. Okay, now that's working. So let's test it out with 2 agents. Let's just see what happens now. Okay, so far so good. Still not quite right. And here, I'll show you what I mean. You see how he's going to go chop this one down? But then here, he's like, I can't do it. Oh, whoops. I even have an error here. I have a lot of errors. Hmm. How can it be out of range? How can that happen? Okay. When it sets the target, it says there is no target, and so we clear it. Let me see my gather resource. If not, is task. Okay, here's the problem. And gather object dot has clicked. So we want to test it really here. I might still need to fix this out of range argument. See, he didn't start going. I mean, this is more of a problem with the goals than what they're doing. Um, Again, these situations can get a little complicated understanding your own AI system and how it works. So it's kind of good that I see what's happening and I'm testing these things out. Uh, but basically, the problem, what I think is happening is, let me just pause it for a sec. They have two goals. One is to storage and one is to gather objects. The goal for gathering object is valid because it says gather object is that. What we need to do is go into our goal. If I can get it, go to the goal. The gather goal. See here, it just says, hey, do you contain this? Then it's a valid goal. But it shouldn't just be that. It should be more um, if there's any game objects. I almost feel like I need to have like a function that, like in my map, because basically I'm just taking this condition here. See, what I kind of want it to do in our goal system is that, let's say it says, hey, I have a goal. It tries to make a plan, but it doesn't make a plan. Right now, all it does is like, okay, well, let me try it again. Let me try it again. Let me try it again. There might need to be like a cooldown. Okay, you want this goal. It didn't happen. Well, guess what? Maybe you should wait a little bit and try to do something else. So almost like it goes, the priority goes down. But really, I want this. Well, I wonder if I can just do this here. Let's see where was that. And then the goals. Um, I wonder. Let's try it. AI action. AI action. Whoops. Is equal to get component gather object. Is that the gather resource? Okay. If AI action is not equal to null, then we're going to do if AI action dot check condition. World states dot states. Check the condition. Then we're going to return true. Else, and really we could just do this: return that, and then say return so it's only going to be a valid goal if this condition is true for that action, meaning there is a gather object and it has been clicked and there's one that's not a task, which means it'll cancel the goal and try to do something else. Oh, awesome. Check that out. Nothing's happening. Okay, let's see why not. Action check condition. If it's not null, debug.log check condition or check condition for goal plus AI action. All right, let's put it inside here. Actually, condition is, or action is there. Okay, here's why. We want to do it game object dot get component in children, because remember I separated them. Actually, hold on. Get component in. Oof. Can we say transform dot parent dot game object dot get component in child the gather resource? So maybe separating them wasn't the best the best thing. All right, there it goes. There you go. You see that? He finally went over there. He's chopping this one down, so there's nothing else for him to do. He can't find any more, and then so he switched his goal to just gather. Okay, this is exactly what I want. See, there's one to chop down, so go do it. So he went over here. He went to go pick something up. So that seems to be better. AI is a little bit smarter. They're a little bit smarter. We don't want any villagers just standing around doing nothing. Come on, you gotta work. Right? Oh, they're smart. Look, he went to go get that. He's getting this one. A little bit better. They're not interfering with the same thing. So that's the first start of it. Let's see if we can get the building. Um, where okay, so that's pretty cool. Let's go to the take from ground. Um, how do I think it's already. How do I do this? Um, see, we're already setting it to true when it goes and tries to pick it up. See, I don't want it to set a target pre. I mean, we can. Uh, override the pre-plan action, and we can say set target if target option is not equal to null. Then we're going to target object dot, we'll say resource dot resource is equal to get component. We want it from the target object. Okay, get the resource. And then we're going to say resource dot is task is true. Okay. So that's for picking something up. Let's go to the, try to think, building. Public override pre-plan action. We're going to set the target. If we do the same kind of thing, if target object is not equal to null, we're going to say what is this? Blueprint is equal to target object dot get component blueprint. Okay, and then if blueprint equal to null. We want to say blueprint dot is task is true. So then in our conditions here, check conditions, we never even put anything in here. So we're going to do something very similar to the gather resource. We want to loop through everything. Loop through everything, list, game object, just change this to the blueprint. Again, I could probably, make the code better, where I don't have to keep copy and pasting. But, that might take a while. Now this we don't need to do. Okay. And I'll get rid of this. Okay. Alright, let's see what's going to happen here. Click here, click here. Let's build something. Alright, getting a lot of errors. Okay. It's kind of the same thing as before. Where's that building thing? Oh, here, I think I have to say, wait. Blueprint, set target, loop through all the blueprints, has all resources. Mm-hmm. Alright, so take resource on ground. But why would that even try to do that as an action? There was no resource on the ground, right? Let's test it out by doing this. Okay. Alright, let's turn off the second agent first. Okay, so take resource on ground. So in the check condition here, this should be, this shouldn't, he shouldn't be able to perform this because this current state's not true. Let me just see again. Let me do 2 AI agents. Put one here. Now click there. Okay, so something is on the ground, but it can't return because the task. One of them's on has a task. So I think we have to do the same thing with this. If we need all that again. And let's get rid of this click thing. Let's change this to resource. Resource. Okay. Okay, we don't want that. So here's the issue. Um, false. All right, here's the issue in our pre-planning. Um, if I do it this way, it's assuming that there's an object on the ground, but in the current state, there isn't one. This is what I'm talking about. Like it hasn't created this object, so we cannot do this at all because one hasn't been created. One needs to be created. When it's trying to do the conditions for the plan, it it checks this thing. So let me undo all that. Okay. So we got to think of this a little bit differently. I might put a pause in the video and then, maybe I can figure this out in the next episode. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.